Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to welcome you to another episode, a new episode of the Fountain of Wisdom and Knowledge podcast. We are your hosts. I am Mr. Raphael II.
And I'm Truman Lewis.
And as always, we use this podcast as a beacon of knowledge, logic, wisdom, truth, and understanding, business and personal development. Before we get started, we want to go ahead and apologize for the hiatus.
Yeah, we got missing, brother. We got missing.
We had some things that we had to take care of, and it kind of threw a monkey wrench in our operation a little bit. But we are going to try to get back on track. Like I said, with this episode 11. So how we doing today, brother?
Man, I'm doing good, man. How about yourself, bro?
Oh man, just keep on pushing, man.
We gotta keep pushing.
Just gotta keep pushing. That's all we can do at this particular moment.
That's right.
So yeah, it's good to be back. Thank you guys for sticking with us for as long as you have. I know it's been it's like 2 months now since we've had our last episode. So
it's been that long?
Yeah, it was before Halloween.
What?
It might have been before October. It might have been like the last week.
Man, we are totally sorry.
Yeah.
We apologize.
I think it might have been the last week. It might have been the last week in September.
Man, time waits for no man.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to keep rolling.
Yeah, we can't let that happen. We got to figure something out, right?
Right. So, episode 11, this episode 10 is normally where a lot of podcasts start to sputter off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they either stop doing the episodes or I think they find like another avenue that they want to go to and they kind of leave it alone. But episode 11 for us is kind of a milestone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We started this thing kind of on a humbug. It's like, well, man, let's just try to do a podcast and, kind of give out some knowledge and some wisdom. But from just from the perspective of, where things are presently from when we started, you made you made mention of earlier before we started recording that we weren't in the same position that we are now.
That's right.
When we started the podcast,
time.
So let's talk about a little bit about how I'm speaking to myself in this regard. Let's talk to the people about not celebrating small wins, like not appreciating small wins.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I'm the type of person where if stuff doesn't look the way I want it to look, I kind of get, a little down and I get aggravated and frustrated because it's like, hey man, come on man, like just happen. You understand what I'm saying? So like from your perspective, give us some tangible things that you would do, or just being grateful and appreciative of where you are versus where you were.
Man, my personal belief in that, Mr. Raphael, is you have to celebrate the small victories. It's just like a stairway. Each step is a milestone, and you can't fully appreciate getting to the top of the step if you just took one big leap.
Right.
It's the steps. It's the steps itself that gives you that feeling of accomplishment. That guess what? I remember when I was at step 1, step 2. I remember when I got halfway up the stairs, I got out of breath. So you have to celebrate the small victories. You have to. That keeps you going and moving forward. That's my belief, man.
And I mean, I don't know if it's a little different from the perspective of me and you specifically, because we have such a grand vision and plan for where we're trying to go.
That's right.
So it's just like when you're doing the work, that's the thing. Like when you're doing the work, when you're exhausting yourself, you're working 18-hour days, and you're doing this and you're doing that, and you're ripping and running, and you're having. It's like being on I call it kind of like that treadmill syndrome, where you're running, but you don't feel like you're going anywhere. You understand what I'm saying? So not getting lost in the look of it more so than anything else.
Yeah, I can see that. But in the scripture, it would always say, an individual that understands the Bible or scripture, it seems like everything happened right behind each other. Boom, 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 boom.
Right.
But it's not. That's why they use that passage or that phrase that say, with the passage of time, time brought about a change. Again, from the time we left this podcast, which you said was about 2 months to right now,
Yeah.
you can see with the passage of time what has changed.
Yeah.
Good, bad, and indifference.
Right.
But a lot of time when you in the mix with it, you don't appreciate it. It's like your fingernail. You don't notice your fingernail growing until one day you look down like, goodness gracious, I need to cut my nails. That's the same way it is.
Yeah.
You just continue to do the work. Brother, it has to work. Faith without work is dead.
Yeah.
And one thing I give you credit for, Mr. Raphael, I don't care what goes on. You continue to work through it. You have to continue to be that way. I'm talking about it can be bad. It can look down, but you cannot stop.
Yeah.
If you stop, then you fail.
Right.
Think about if you to stop. But you kept going.
Yeah.
That's in anything we do, bro. We got to keep going.
Yeah.
You know, we got to keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, we touched, man, when I think about all the stuff we've talked about in this 11 episodes or 10 episodes, man, it's been crazy. We've talked about just about everything you can talk about as far as like personal development and, you know, mindset, business development, things of that nature. But touching back on just, you know, having that will, the will to keep going is, I had a, I don't want to say a premonition, but like kind of a vision in my head, and it was I was going to get in my car from a valet. So the valet was, I guess, somebody that I had known, or maybe it's a location that I frequent or whatever. I was going to get in my car, and it might have been a dream. I don't know, but anyway. I was going to get in my car, and the guy told me, he's like, "Hey, you know, I did such and such. I think he might have filed his LLC or something." Yeah. And I told him, I looked back at him. I said, "Hey, man, you on the road, boy. Keep going."
That's
and
right.
I was like, and I told him something. I said, "You're not giving up is half the battle."
Woo.
And I said that to him, and I was like, "Wow. I mean, maybe I should take my own advice." You know what I'm saying? But finding the will to keep pressing is, man, I mean, that's crucial. It's so crucial, because giving up is the easiest thing. I mean, man, bro, look, I'm done.
All you gotta do is stop. That's it.
I'm done. All right, man. I gave it the old college try. It didn't work. You know, it is what it is. And I remember watching a video for the rapper Rick Ross.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, all you gotta do is hit once. All it takes is one win.
One win.
All it takes is one win. And then from him saying that's kind of spurred the thought in my head. I was like, man, it's just one win and it'll erase every loss.
Every loss. But also remember, they're not actually losses.
Yeah.
They're actually what I call, this is what I call it. They're not losses. They're just examples of what not to do. Okay, I tried it this way. It didn't work. Now I know that in my new adventure or my new endeavors, don't do it that way.
Yeah. Painful losses. Oh, painful lessons.
I like that one. Painful lessons. Because
yeah.
I don't believe when you hit big one time and it erases everything, then you're going to become a teacher.
Yeah.
And you're going to tell them through all those things that you would have called losses, you're going to call that wisdom. Mm-hmm. Because you got that experience.
Yeah.
One place in the scripture say, experience give you hope. Hope maketh you not ashamed. So now, when the time comes, Mr. Raphael, for you to teach someone else, you're going to teach them with much comfortability. Mm-hmm. You're going to have so much confidence. Yeah. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. When I did this, this is what happened. Now you can do it the way you want to, but this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something I give you credit for. You know, because we have an endeavor, me and Truman, that he's kind of my consultant, mentor, teacher in that regard. And I look at a lot of the stuff that you went through, and I was like, man, I mean, am I really in that bad of a place? Because you know, for those of you who don't know a lot about Truman was I mean, the king's castle at one point in his life, and he had everything, and he had it snatched from him. I'll just say that. I don't want to give away too much because we still haven't done the story.
Yeah, we got to do that too.
But he had it all. He had it all, and it was snatched from him. And based on who you talk to, some people would say it was fair. Some, I don't think it was, but whatever. And for you to still be in a position where you went through what you went through, to have everything that most people dream about and have it snatched, yanked from underneath your feet, and for you to be able to recover, not only recover, but keep going and put yourself in a position where you're building nonprofit organizations, you're building businesses, you're helping other people build their business. I credit you a lot for that, man. Because I think I told you this before. I don't know if I was in your position, I don't know if I would have recovered.
Oh, you'd have recovered. I'm telling you, I'm around you so much. We just may handle it different, but you don't sit down and twiddle your thumbs. You don't do that. You're gonna find a way, and we all have this thing that's called our inner voice. Regardless of the situation, when you lay in that bed in the nighttime and ain't nothing but you and the inner you, the inner you gonna start to talk to you.
Yeah.
And the inner you is gonna tell that physical limitation, which is your physical body, listen, Raph, we gotta do better. Listen, we can't stay here. To me, that's what happens. I always thank God for this. I have the ability to see outside of my physical realm. I understand that, guess what? I can see without seeing with my eyes. I can hear without hearing with my ears. And I can think or I can talk to myself without actually hearing myself say words. Bro, when you do that, that means that there's something greater than you. That's our spiritual being. That's why you still going. When everything you see right now, when we got to those hard positions in life, everything in our physical being say, man, I'm tired, bro.
Yeah, boy.
Man, this don't make no sense.
You preaching to the choir, yeah, brother.
But then we'll come back and say, hey, man, it can be gone in one day. It can come back in one day. See, that's that self-talk. When thought and emotion become one, you can tell that mountain to move. You can create your own reality. Raphael, that's what you're doing. You're creating your own reality. It's just not as smooth. If it was smooth, everybody would do it.
It's funny you said that. I remember just a couple of days ago, I was just kind of in deep thought, and I remember the thought. You create the reality you want. You create, or you live in the reality that you create for yourself.
That's right.
I was like, how is that even possible? Like, I'm not living in the reality I want right now. You know what I'm saying? But it's just taking in things from a point where living through or going through the pain and the hardship, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's building you up for something. I don't know what that something is. I have no clue. I've racked my brain trying to figure out what it is. It's like, but with me being in a position where, like, I found the door, because we talked about the doors, knocking on the door.
Yep.
I found the door.
Oh, you got the door.
The door's open.
It's open.
My foot's inside the door. Like,
yes,
my foot's in the room. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, now there's a wind blowing out of the room. I got to try to drag myself in. And it's just like, okay, so you come this far. Do you stop now?
Absolutely not.
And throw away all the work that you did? Because, just even getting to this point, man, it's been, I don't even, what's the word? I'm going
to give you the word.
What's the word?
If you was to stop right now, and individuals who have made it to the door, opened the door, got their foot in the door, if they were to stop right now, that would be the most catastrophic thing they can do in his or her life. Because let me tell you something. You know the demons you're going to have to fight to make it back. Because let me tell you what's going to happen. Even when you get in your next endeavor, you're always going to have that monkey on your back or that negative thought that said, man, I made it before, but I quit.
Yeah. You
understand? You cannot You cannot quit. Not at all. Just say, listen, I'm in the door. The door is open. This is where I want it to be. This is the room I wanted to be in. Mm-hmm. Now, everything that I've learned up until this time, it's been instrumental. Now I'm in the room. Now I have to observe the people that's in the room with me. How do they move? Then I need to find somebody that I want to be like in that room, or I want to imitate somebody that's in that room. Or how should I say it? Find someone that you want to be like in that room and imitate him or her. Mm. To me, that's how you excel in that room.
Well, and then you have to find like inspiration outside of what you're going through. Because I mean, I look at, people who are, I guess, what most people would consider successful, is like financially, they have money and things of that nature. And then you look at the like a list of millionaires, and most of them are like in their 60s. You understand what I'm saying? True. So it's like, well, how long was it from when they started their business to where they got to present day? How long was that gap?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and what was in that gap? Was it smooth sailing the whole time? I'm pretty sure it wasn't. Or was it, was there turmoil, or was there obstacles? And yeah, of course there is, and of course there was. But it's like, what's for you is what's for you, and that's for triumph and trial.
That's absolutely right. And you still got to realize on top of that what you said, Mr. Raphael, and you're right. Both triumph and trial is yours. Mm-hmm. But you have to always understand, especially social media, you have to understand this, that you are the creators of your reality. Mm. And why that may not seem to be real, if you do nothing, your results going to be nothing.
Right.
Huh? That's just what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. If you get out there and try every day, you may come up short, but you'll be in the room. So my question is, let's go back to when you started your endeavors. Mm. You're now in the room. When you're in the room, that should be your motivation. I remember the time I wasn't in the room. I remember the time I was just trying to get to the room. I remember the time I was trying to find the book to read so I can get the direction in which to get to the room.
Right.
But when you come to the point in life that you're in the room, you've made it. Now you have to maintain it. They say it's not making $1 million. It's keeping it. Man, they ain't never lied about that one.
Yeah, because the whole world's set up for you to lose it. Everything's set up. Taxes, you don't pay your taxes, or if you got people who want to sue you or whatever. I mean, it's like the money is the hardest thing to make, but the easiest thing to lose.
Yeah. I heard an actress said this, and this is true because this is just the way social media, if you don't know business, always understand that when you're dealing with business, individuals, they're going to treat you as a business, right?
Right.
I heard one of the actors said, listen, let's say if they made $100,000. They say Uncle Sam takes 50% of that. Mm-hmm. Maybe not quite that much, but normally 30. Enough. But right. Let's just, for the sake of argument, let's say they take that 50%, right? But let's say on top of that, she says that she has to pay her team 30%. Mm-hmm. Now, this is the killer what most people don't realize about business. When she paid her team, or when people pay their team, they don't normally pay them off the net money. Net money mean after you paid all your bills. No. They want 30% off the gross. Right. So listen now. So that means off of $100,000, right? Uncle Sam gets 50. So that knock you down to $50,000. Mm-hmm. Hold up. But your team get 30%, not off the $50,000 that you have left. But off of the $100,000. So that means that you have to then pay them what's 30% of $100,000. $30,000.
Yeah.
So now that means between Uncle Sam and your team, that's a total of $80,000 gone. It don't take a real math major to understand that $100,000 minus $70,000 is $30,000. Mm. This is the type of world we're living in.
Yeah.
Everybody want to get paid off the gross. And when you realize what the net is, That's why you have to always work harder. That's why they tell you pay yourself first.
Right.
I don't care. Pay yourself first. The bill can wait.
Right.
Like, Truman, what you mean? Certain bills can wait. I'm trying to tell you. My grandma used to say, hey, the bill man can afford it more than you.
Right.
If it ain't light bill, water bill, house bill, listen, some of those bills can wait, especially when it comes to your livelihood.
Yeah.
Because everybody's not in the same situation.
Yeah.
All right?
Well, I guess, just kind of getting down to kind of wrapping things up, like with being appreciative of it's, man, I'm saying this and I don't even know if I believe it, but being appreciative of the hard times, because in that comes growth. Growth is a painful thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing I've tried my hardest to kind of implement into my life, is just being appreciative of where you are. Yeah. It's not where you want to be, not even close, but it's it's shown growth, because I wasn't here 10 years ago. I wasn't here 5 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So and being appreciative of the opportunity for growth from my perspective of I don't know if 10 years ago, if the situation that I'm in now, I don't even know if I would have taken advantage of it. You understand what I'm saying? Investing in something that I didn't know anything about just a few months ago. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I know, just me being the stubborn person that I am, and being, well, back then being even more insecure. You know what I'm saying? Because I hadn't really done any work on myself. Yeah. So I don't even know if I would have taken advantage of the opportunity that that I'm in now. So just being thankful for that growth.
Yeah, that's growth. That's growth, man. You appreciate it, and you do appreciate it. It's just people appreciate things in different ways, right? They say tough time creates
hard men.
Hard men.
Right. Hard men create good times, and good times create soft men. Soft men create hard times. Right.
So what's going to happen? You can't see these things until the passage of time, because before that individual had tough times, they couldn't see it. They had to go through that tough time to see what it produced.
Yeah.
Then the good times had to come to see that it produced weaker people.
Yeah.
Why is that? It's because when you have everything at your fingertip, you don't have to go through tough times.
Right.
You can see that in our children. Our children don't have to go through what we went through,
right,
and we ain't had to go through what our parents went through,
right,
and our parents ain't had to go through what. Right now, you can't get a child to holler, sweep, or vacuum the floor. You can't holler get them jokers. You can't holler get them jokers to carry out the trash can. Why? Because we've blanketed them.
Yeah.
So, my brother, as we get older, we're gonna be able to look back and we're gonna appreciate those tough times. We're gonna appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that day when I can look back like, yeah, man, went through that thing, but it was worth it. I'm looking forward to that day.
You're on the road. We're on the road. We on the road to greatness, or the road of greatness. Let's say it like that. Right. We're not on the road to greatness. We're on the road of greatness. Right. See, that's the difference. When you're on the road of greatness, that means you're gonna make it to greatness, unless you stop.
Right.
Brother, we okay.
Yeah. Well, this has been episode 11 of the Fountain of Wisdom and Knowledge podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for sticking with us. Sorry once again for the hiatus.
Yes.
Life was lifing, as the kids say, and we had to deal with some situations and circumstances and get some things together. But we thank you all for being here. We thank you all for sticking with us. Thank you for being loyal audience members. Going back, please please share, please subscribe, please leave comments. We need engagement. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear your thoughts on what we talk about. We want to hear your thoughts on different things you would like to hear us touch on.
Yes,
that would be greatly appreciated. Yep. So just please Please share, please subscribe. We've been doing this. We're episode 11 now. We still kind of infants in the podcasting world, but we're doing our best to build this thing out and leave the world better than it was when we found it. You understand what I'm saying? So there be nothing else. As always, this is the Fountain of Wisdom and Knowledge podcast. We use this podcast as a beacon of knowledge, logic, wisdom, truth, and understanding, business and personal development. And we love you, and we'll see you next week.